Namaste, angels. I'm doing my first video for you guys, you my Patreon subscribers. So if you're watching this video, you are my Patreon subscriber. I thank you very much for being here. And I'm recording our videos for February 1st and 2nd today, January 30th, here at 4:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, beginning with the significant events in history on this day. And the year 1587 or 1515 or 66, Queen Elizabeth I of England signs the death warrant for her cousin Mary Stuart, Queen of Scots. And she absolutely did not have to do that, in my opinion. She was just a bitch. 1884, the first volume of the Oxford English Dictionary is published. A through Ant is done. 1908, King Carlos I of Portugal and his heir, Prince Luis Felipe, are assassinated by Republican sympathizers in Lisbon, so Spain. 1968, Saigon police chief Nguyen Ngoc Loan executes Viet Cong officer Nguyen Van Lim with a pistol shot to the head. The execution is captured by photographer Eddie Adams and becomes an anti-war icon. 1979, the Ayatollah Khomeini returns to Iran after 15 years in exile. That's our third 15 in a minute. So that may be significant, or 6 may be significant on this day, February 1st. 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrates during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, killing all 7 astronauts aboard. Did you know Johanna Sigurdur, I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, it's a long name, let's see, Sigurd, Sigurd, Ottir, Tur. So I'm saying Sigurdur, is elected as the first female prime minister of Iceland, becoming the first openly gay head of government in the modern world. This happened on February 1st in the year 2009. So this is recent enough for us to look up the pronunciation of her name if anybody's interested. Famous birthdays: Louis Saint Laurent, John Ford, Clark Gable, Boris Yeltsin, Lisa Marie Presley, and Harry Styles. Would you believe the first scientific handheld calculator, the HP 35, is introduced for $395 on February 1st in the year 1972. Famous weddings: 1840, novelist Alexandre Dumas, who was 37, weds actress Ida Ferrier. 1932, film director Frank Capra, 34, wed secretary Lucille Rayburn. 1986, singer Diana Ross marries Norwegian businessman Arne Nies in Switzerland. And in 1997, retired MLB player, so Major League Baseball, Johnny Bench, 49, weds a stockbroker, Elizabeth Benton. Famous deaths: Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. Piet Mondrian, I think he was an actor, we'll find out in a second, and Maximilian Schell, a painter. I'm from Mondrian. Maximilian Schell might be an actor. Let's see. He is indeed an actor. He's famous for Judgment at Nuremberg, The Pedestrian, and The Man in the Glass Booth. He was born on December 8th in 1930 and was a Sagittarius from Vienna, Austria. He died on February 1st in the year 2014 at the age of 83. I could tell he was an actor by his ascot. And Piet Mondrian is indeed a painter as well, an abstract painter, was a painter, not is. He was a significant contributor to the Stijl art movement, Stijl, and is best known for his non-representational form of neoplasticism. He was born on March 7th in the year 1872, was a Pisces from Amersfoort, Netherlands. He died on February 1st in 1944 at the age of 71 of pneumonia. Mary Shelley did indeed author Frankenstein. She was known for her efforts to publish Percy Shelley's works and for her novel, Frankenstein. She was born on August 30th in 1797 and was a Virgo from London, England. She died on February 1st in 1851 at the age of 53 of a brain tumor. And I'm going to go up to the birthdays. Harry Styles is only 23, a singer. Harry is famous because he gained international fame as one of the Irish-British boy band members, One Direction. The band was formed during the British talent show The X Factor with 5 members, Niall Horan, Zayn Malik, Liam Payne, and Louis Tomlinson, including Styles. One Direction were later signed by Simon Cowell, and they released their debut single in 2001, What Makes You Beautiful, followed by their debut album, Up All Night. A couple of months later, Up All Night sold 4.5 million copies and debuted at #1 on the U.S. Billboard 200. A second album, Take Me Home, appeared in 2012. More albums followed in 2013, 14, and 15. Styles signed a solo record deal with Columbia Records in 2016 and released his first singer as a solo artist. I guess they mean his first song. They put singer. First song as a solo artist, Sign of the Times, in April 2017. He was born on February 1st in 1994 and is 23 years old, an Aquarius from Redditch, Worcestershire, or Worcester, England. Lisa Marie Presley is 49. She is the princess of rock and roll. That's her profession. She's famous because she's the only child of Elvis Presley, and she has conducted a long career in the music business and has issued several albums and videos. Her work as a vocalist and a lyricist has ranged across rock, country, blues, and folk. She was born on February 1st in 1968, is 49 years old, an Aquarius from Memphis, Tennessee, USA. Boris Yeltsin. Profession, Russian president. Yeltsin served as the first president of Russia from 1991 through 1998. During the Soviet era, Yeltsin served as the head of the Russian Soviet Federative Socialist Republic before coming to national prominence by opposing the communist coup attempt in August of 1991. During the collapse of the Soviet Union, he oversaw the privatization of Russia's formerly communist economy in his term. His use of shock therapy economics led to an economic collapse, a drastic reduction in living standards, rampant crime, corruption, and gigantic wealth inequality that followed the rise of the Russian oligarchs who controlled vast sectors of the economy. Yeltsin resigned in 1999 in favor of his chosen successor, Vladimir Putin. He was born on February 1st in 1931 and was an Aquarius from Butka, Russia. He died on April 23rd, 2007 at the age of 76 of congestive heart failure. Clark Gable is one. Do you guys know that song by Jay-Z and Kanye West, Niggas in Paris? Clark Gable is one of the actors that I refer to as a nigga in Paris. And the reason for that is there were several actors that of his time that people didn't realize were black, some intentionally passing, some not. But in Europe, particularly in France, they would thrive like regardless, you know, whether people knew that they were of color or not. Clark Gable is one of these. People didn't realize that he was, but you could look it up. He's black. In any case, profession, actor. He is famous because he's regarded as the king of Hollywood. He was a leading man in more than 60 motion pictures over 3 decades. He was arguably best known for his role as Rhett Butler in the epic Gone with the Wind. He made a lot of like stipulations with that film too. He wanted to make sure that the actors and actresses or help on the set of color were treated with some sort of fairness and all that. So he did his part to the extent that people were able to at the time in that regard. So yeah, he was Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, and he is considered one of the most consistent box office performers in history. He was born on February 1st in 1901 and was an Aquarius from Cadiz, Ohio, USA. He died on November 16th in 1960 at the age of 59 of coronary thrombosis. John Ford, whose full name was John Martin Feeney, and not Ford, is profession film director. And he's famous because he was a legendary film director whose career spanned the silent era through to the 1960s. Throughout his career, Ford was particularly associated with Westerns, such as The Searchers in 1956. He won a record 4 Best Director Academy Awards, including one for The Grapes of Wrath in 1940 and The Quiet Man in 1952. In 1941, his film How Green Was My Valley famously beat Citizen Kane to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. He was born on February 1st in 1895 and was an Aquarius from Cape Elizabeth, Maine, USA. He died on August 31st in 1973 at the age of 78. He was a Cancer. And we have just one more, and that is Louis St. Laurent. He was Canadian, and he served as the 12th Prime Minister of Canada. He's famous because of that. The term went from November 1948 through June 1957. His foreign policy initiatives transformed Canada from an isolationism with little role in the world and world affairs to an active, quote unquote, middle power. He was an enthusiastic proponent of Canada's joining NATO in 1949 to fight communist totalitarianism. And he was a strong Canadian nationalist who hated communism and did not fear the United States. He was born on February 1st in 1892 and was an Aquarius from Compton, Quebec, Canada. He died on July 25th in 1973 at the age of 91 of natural causes. And with that, we'll see what the dice have in store for us for the day, beginning with eat cake, sex, and email. There is no special astrology or astronomy for this day. Spirit still says eat cake, sex, and no. So if there's like a yes or no question that you were pondering, go with no. I'm going to begin with the cards and the Princess of Summer for our daily reading. The Princess of Summer is sensitive, kind, open-hearted, and inexperienced. You can expect to kindle a new relationship, a romantic relationship, or a close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. The Princess of Summer is a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, or somebody taking on those traits or attributes and, very likely making some sort of offering of love. Pages bring news. So this would be news of something, emotional, but like emotionally pleasing or with regard to love. And opening to the Five of Summer. Focus upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. So this is a card of like, oh, woe is me, disappointment, not counting your blessings. It can be about being pessimistic for me too and doubtful. The Five of Summer or Cups, and opening to the Seven of Winter, the energy of joy stealing as far as I'm concerned. Caution will help you avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. So that's also an air or swords card, so it can be mental. It can be something that's in your head that's not really occurring. And if it's opposite the Five of Summer, it can be about like your fear that something is not going to work out, that you're going to be disappointed, or that someone is going to disappoint you. I'll do one more. It's the Three of Autumn. Your most satisfying and profitable career or relationship comes from following your passions, listening to your heart, and doing what brings you joy. Your life purpose is best fulfilled by allowing your talents and true self to shine forth out unto the world. The Three of Earth as it relates to work or in general is about like abundance earned. So at work, it's you know, a raise or a position, a talent, some sort of compensation that you've earned. You know, put the work into it. Nobody's doing you a favor. And it can be that you're about to get one of these things, a raise, a promotion or something, and you need to keep up that good work that you've been doing. So don't be doubtful about it and like, you know, slack off, because then you won't get it, but you're in line for it. Overall energy is the 9 of summer. So especially with regard to love and emotion, with this being a summer, a cups card, if you had a yes or no question about that, then I'd say the answer is yes. Your wishes are being granted. Your prayers are being answered. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still to come. Sometimes I get in the mood to just drop them. The masculine. The 3 of spring. Stop to take time to review and to make long-term plans, capitalizing upon your past successes. It's appropriate to pat yourself on the back for all of your accomplishments, but you may also need patience for the next phase to play out. As it relates to love, of course, this can have to do, or relationships in general, not necessarily love. This can have to do with what I would call a party of 3, perhaps a love triangle, but it doesn't have to be that either. Surrounded by awakening, or the hanged man, which represents the sign of Pisces and the planet Neptune for me. Look at things in a different way and all will make sense. Don't worry about your progress being halted. It's just temporary and things will soon start moving again. When you see this card, it's important to take a step back and like be honest with yourself and about the situation and look at it from a fair, you know, vantage point. In the masculine subconscious, it's the Emperor, which represents the planet Mars and the signs of Aries and Scorpio, which it rules. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role, as you have much wisdom to offer. This can also represent like an authority, a father figure, a teacher or something here. The feminine is crowned by the sun, which represents the sign of Leo. Your plans will work out well, bringing you happiness, prosperity, and success. You'll garner the recognition for your accomplishments you so richly deserve. February 1st looks like a good day because, again, as it relates to general energy, the 3 of spring is about abundance and making plans, your ships coming in. So like when there's ones, that's when we're thinking and we're tossing things out about our life. We're speaking things over our life and coming up with ideas. And when there's 2, we're having faith that they're going to materialize at some point. When we reach that 3, it means they are actually coming together. So in the general sense, this is exciting. This is another 3 right underneath it. So I'm sure that's not a mistake. Well, the cards are never a mistake. But we have these 2 3s here with the masculine. And there can be 3 or more people involved. If it's a business situation, there can be several people working on a project, or the masculine putting something together, or if it has to do with some sort of relationship or friendship, romantic, family situation. There's a need to take a step back and look from a realistic point of view, and stop letting like things that might get in your way cloud your judgment, as the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces can sometimes do. It can be cloudy and foggy and I'm confused. I don't know what to do. I got to make a decision. I'm procrastinating. I'm dizzy. I'm fantasizing. Can be all those things. Here, the Emperor is a 4, and it is about your foundations and bringing things together. So that can be what the masculine is thinking about, aware that his ships are coming in. Like when they're coming in, what happens? Eventually, ultimately, they get there. They arrive, right? And so he needs to be ready. He could be just putting a plan together too. The feminine, doing well if she has been ill or finds herself ill or needing to go into the doctor or hospital for some sort of scan, x-ray, CAT scan or something. That's going to be fine. She is surrounded by the 5 of summer. So she could be doubtful about that, like, or nervous. I got to go to the doctor. You know, what if this isn't good? Or what if something is serious? It's whatever. If there is something, it's going to like be fine. Focus upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. So even if we get some sort of, like I said, health news, just have the faith that it will work out. And that's going to help us. That's going to be the positive outlook that continues to propel us forward. In the subconscious, it's the world. So we got another 3 here. Another major arcana card. Congratulations on successfully accomplishing what you've set out to do. You've made it through the challenges and incorporated the lessons life offered you with grace and courage. The world is about the being moved into a new energy by the universe. It's a very quote unquote karmic card for me, as in destined, as in fated, as in of the universe. And it is something that we should have left alone on our own a while ago. A job we stayed at too long, a relationship we stayed in too long, a friend that we kept too long. We knew that they didn't really like us. You know, they were a friend of me. A family situation that we, you know, maintained in an unhealthy way too long. We should have ended that too. We should have moved out. We should have told them they had to move out, whatever the case was. That's finally happening. The universe is stepping in to pull us out of that situation. Crowning. It's a 6. It's the Lovers, to match this 6 that we have here, I guess. True and long-lasting love find its way into your life. Follow your heart with caring actions and choices. So again, you might have to take a step back so you can look at the big picture in a realistic way that is fair to not just others, but yourself as well. And with some optimism, feminine, and then go forward. But this card, particularly in this deck, when it shows up, it's to say that like the love is real. See, true and long lasting love finds its way into your heart. And we have this sitting next to the sun and sitting next to the 3 of spring, which, yes, it can, again, mean that there's a party of 3 and perhaps a romantic, like a love triangle. But it can also mean that we're moving up the stages. We're progressing toward, you know, setting some sort of foundation for the relationship. It's going to be built on something legitimate and have a chance to go the distance. At the roots, another 6. It's the 6 of autumn. Your success and prosperity have allowed you to pay off debts, acquire wise loans, and receive a grant or scholarship. In return for heaven's blessings, be sure to share the wealth with others through donations of time or money or to reputable charities. The 6 of autumn, as it relates to love, since it's sitting here underneath the Lovers, is about unconditional love. Even as it relates to love with strangers, you know, doing something for people because that's the right thing to do. A stranger dropped their wallet in the street, and rather than pick it up and put it in your purse, you say, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me, miss, here's your wallet." That's exchanging unconditional love with strangers. You're not looking for anything they may say, "Oh, here's a tip for you," but you're not looking for that. You know, it's people doing things freely of their heart. They're doing because they want to, and they're open to both giving and receiving. That's what this card is about. It's one of my favorites in the deck, actually. Maybe even above the Lovers, because the Lovers can be about a decision sometimes too. Although I don't believe it is here. At the heart of the matter, this is, though, the 4 of winter. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to a resolution, but meditation and prayer will bring the answers you seek. This can also be about travel and movement, planning travel, maybe you haven't actually gone yet, but you're planning something, about needing rest. It's about recovery. We've been working, we've been putting in the effort towards something, and now we need a break, or we're taking that step back. So I need to, like get my thoughts together now that I've taken that step back. It can be all of those things, but let's see what some of these say underneath. I wasn't going to do this one because the next one is upside down, but let's see. The 10 of spring. You're working far too hard, and the stress will soon become too much. Reach out for help for others and take some time to play and enjoy life. So there could be other people, again, either at work or home, that can and should be helping you. They should be putting forth some of the effort. They should be taking up some of the load, some of the responsibility, and you're trying to do everything. So I have a friend, actually, a client, really, Facebook friend. I don't know him in real life. I met him as a client, who is a Leo, a fire sign, male. And this weekend he had to kick everybody out of his house. He just couldn't take it anymore. And that's this kind of energy. So this is about, yeah, you're putting effort in, you're making long-term plans, you're doing something, you're doing good. It says you deserve a pat on the back, so I'm not telling you to get down on yourself, but at the same time, be mindful that you can be taking on too much, and it's okay to either do what he did and like clear your space, and de-stress, or, spread out some of the work. Under this hangman. For some of us, the reason we need to take a step back and look at the big picture is because there's something that unto which we've been holding on that we need to let go. We need to release it. This is Major Arcana card 13, release or death in the traditional tarot. It's time to release the past and to move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. This now gives us a 613 here, which equals a 19 for one thing. But it's also about, that's where like a decision does come into play. The hangman often reminds me of like the 7 of cups, which is about the need to make a decision. And they have a very similar energy. They both remind me of the Pisces and the planet Neptune. We're taking the step back to be fair again and equitable, even with ourselves, and say, like, and honest. Have I been holding on to this person, place, thing, energy, a negative energy, a negative emotion? Like, is it time to just let this go? A memory, whatever. Let this go so that I can move on. And this card shows up to say yes. And that can also, it's been something that's been weighing on you, causing you stress, perhaps like running up your blood pressure or something like that, masculine. So it is something that you need to get rid of. And it's time. I was going to pull another one, but I think that that's pretty clear. That this is why I guess the Emperor wants us to get organized. And what's all of these under him seem to be upside down too. They don't want us to necessarily look, but I think that it's a very good chance that this masculine who's going through this sort of thing is a Scorpio or fire sign, because death represents the sign of Scorpio. Again, Mars rules Scorpio, but also Aries, which is a fire sign. So not only could it be a Scorpio or a fire sign, it could be specifically a Scorpio or an Aries who's really dealing with this kind of energy, or somebody with that in their chart, or who does take on that kind of energy. The sun is the sun. It's a good outcome. We don't need to see what's going on under there, but let's see maybe underneath this 5 of summer. Here's one that's upright. The star. And the star is the same energy as the overall energy with which we started, only stronger, bigger, better. That 9 of cups, which is now somewhere underneath one of these piles since I dropped them. The star is that kind of energy. It represents the planet Uranus and the sign of Aquarius. Did I say that this was Leo? Yes. And the sun, the actual sun, Earth star, the sun rules the sign of Leo. And the Lovers represents the sign of Gemini. So not surprising that it's sitting on top of this other air energy as well. This one was the card that was underneath the star. That was upside down. I wasn't going to look at, but I was just like sort of made to flip it up. So here it is. It's the Chariot, which represents the sign of Cancer. That can be what this water energy is about. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition that you're receiving. This is a card of movement, so it can be like somebody's wish may be to physically move, and you're getting to do that. And so your, brighter days are ahead for you in that regard. Or an energy or something moves forward where it had been stagnant before, or your prayers are finally moving, like you're finally getting answers to your prayers where you can see and feel and touch the answers, the results. That's happening too. So don't be so, but you need the positive outlook, because that's how you're going to manifest these positive things. Don't be so like down and failing to count your blessings and to be thankful for what you do have and what you should be able to expect, and faith and support that the universe, shows us all. Underneath the World, the next one is upside down, but the next one is upright. And it's the Ace of Autumn. So somebody could have been going through financial difficulty sitting here next to another Six of Autumn, or this can still be about a relationship too. Again, with the Lovers here and with the Six of Autumn here. And even with Death and the Sun. With Death, it's about a relationship transforming. So it can be like this, the Chariot that showed up. It was stagnant before, and it's transforming into something that's moving now. The Ace of Autumn, you can expect a windfall of abundance, such as money, timely assistance, a serendipitous meeting, or rewarding advice. And that can include a relationship too. You may be offered a fabulous new job or a promotion, or the prospect of a profitable business venture or investment. So you're being moved out of that energy that was stagnant where something wasn't going. Maybe again, for some of us, it is like a job or something, and we're leaving that job, we're losing that job, we're getting fired, we're getting laid off or whatever, but there's something better in store for us. We're leaving a relationship, we're losing a friend, but we're going to get a new one, and that space is going to be filled. It's not going to remain vacant. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this daily reading. I'll be back with one for you tomorrow. For you and only you, my Patreon subscribers. Thanks again. Namaste, angels.
My feet won't touch the ground.